Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. How are you?
Good. Actually, took the daughter to the doctor, and everything came back fine. So we're golden.
That's great. It's a good feeling, yeah?
Yeah, yeah. Just having issues with the milk. A lot of acid reflux. And apparently, this is normal for kids. So
Oh, the joys.
all you can do as a parent is just worry, and then go spend money on a lot of little things that you don't really need.
Yeah, worry. Like Kayla still doesn't have an apartment. It's May 19th. She has no place to live as of June 1st.
Are you laughing because she's gonna probably have to come back, or like, are you happy on that sense, or
She's not coming back. She got a
not?
modeling contract, so
She
she's
did. She
not
got
coming
it.
back. Yeah. So
Oh,
she's not coming
congrats.
back. No, I'm laughing because she's not worried about it yet. She's just like, Mom, New York is different, and it moves really fast. So actually, that's plenty of time. And I'm like,
Really?
okay. Anyway, but I've had a headache now for 2 solid days, and last night it kept waking me up, and I would wake up and think, "Am I having a stroke?" Because it was like
Not bad.
very well. It was very specific. It was in a specific spot, so
Oh,
it was one of those weird things. I mean, obviously, if it was really that bad, it would be waking me up. I was able to go back to sleep, but I think that's just the way my stress is coming out right now would be my guess. I actually had got a call back on an audition yesterday, which was really fun because it's the first time I sort of moved up the chain a little bit and did got a self tape, but then from the self tape got a callback. So that was very exciting, very nerve wracking. It was
how
not
did it
my
go?
best. It was not my best work. I don't know that I got booked, and that's okay because I learned from somebody smart that you just learn from everything. So I learned stuff, and I'll be ready next time. Hopefully, there'll be a next time, and so yeah.
I'm pretty
But
sure there'll be a next time.
I hope so.
There has to be a next time.
Well, I'm just going to keep trying forever. So maybe I'll be that like 80-year-old woman. I will say that's the
You
last
could be
thing I'll
the.
say.
You could. Oh no! Wait. You could be the next. What's her name? 80-year-old. Forgot her name.
Betty
Betty White.
Betty White.
Yes.
I
She's
would.
so
Oh,
cool.
I would
She's so
love.
cool.
I know. I
I
know.
love.
It's
I love.
tragic that we lost her.
Yeah.
Um, but actually, I had this very funny conversation. Liam is feeling a lot of pressure because as of next week, he'll be a senior. And so
Okay.
he's like, my life should be figured out. And I was like, dude, you're probably going to live to at least 100, which means you're not even 18% into your life yet. Cut yourself some slack. I didn't fully pursue my dreams until I was 50. So, anyway, uh, I see our special guest community highlight in the waiting room. Are you ready to talk to them? I want to bring them in.
Yeah.
Tyler Groft with Aligned Mortgage, but he's a super cool guy. I'm sure he'll tell us about it, but he also an ex-Marine and apparently an unbelievable jazz pianist. So I actually have heard about Tyler for years as a musician. And so it's very weird when worlds collide, you know. But super cool guy. So let's let him in and let's chat real estate because there's nothing stressful about real estate in Austin these days.
Of course not. Everything's
Am
so
I
chill.
right?
Everything's so
Exactly.
chill.
It's chill. There he is.
Ma'am,
Hi, Tyler.
how are
Well,
you?
don't you have a fancy background? Is that staged perfectly for Zooms or what?
No, I actually don't. I'm not in charge of that. That's not my
Well,
skill set. I just live
kudos.
here.
Kudos to your wife then.
Yes,
Tyler,
yes.
welcome to our Real Austin Video Podcast. I'd like to introduce you to David Negrete.
How's it going, man?
Sure. I'm living the dream. How are you?
Good, good. Doing okay.
All right.
Happy to be
Thank
alive.
y'all for having me. I appreciate you guys.
Well, we're very excited to talk to you because we were just saying, how completely non-stressful the current real estate market is in the Austin area. Such a walk in the park. No, this is, I think, episode 15 for us, and the first time we're really hitting real estate as a topic. But it's time, definitely, to chat about it. And we're hoping to really, we don't want this to be just if you're buying or selling or, in the market at all, but just to be aware of kind of what's going on, regardless.
For sure, yeah.
So tell us a little bit about yourself, Tyler.
Let me adjust that. California farm boy, turned Marine, got out of California, joined the Marine Corps, did that for a while, was a public school teacher for about a decade, and then did my graduate work and then exited that and entered the mortgage industry. And yeah, been doing that, like you said, at a very exciting time for all of this to be happening.
Yeah, you and I we dropped into real estate at just the right time, you and I, when things were just getting boring,
Well, you guys are the ones to blame about the whole thing going on with the market. You too.
It's us. Yes, exactly. Yeah, no. So yeah, I mean, I wouldn't have it any other way. It's, busy is better than bored. And like we've talked about in the past, everything is very relative. So I can't complain.
I agree.
How was were you a teacher here in California or here in Texas?
In Texas, yeah, just northeast of Austin, actually.
I always wonder how different the school systems are, like Texas to California to Florida. I don't know if they're pretty much similar and everywhere, or they actually change.
I don't know that I can answer that. My experience with the California school system when I was 10. So from the, just from the teacher perspective and knowing all of the kind of standards and expectations, I don't really have a view on both sides. But I think, Kristin, didn't you teach? You were out of state for a minute, weren't you?
Yeah. So I've taught in, I think, 6 states at this point.
Yeah.
And it's interesting because when it comes to other subjects, I felt like other states were more intense than Texas. But boy, when it comes to music or fine arts, period, I think my general overall opinion, and you feel free to agree or disagree, is that Texas likes to make it competitive like it's a sport. It's like that Texas likes that sport competition format, and so we even do that in our fine arts, which is hard on me because that's not what I'm about with it,
For sure, yeah.
And then in the mortgage industry, you've been how long, Tyler?
I'm going on a year.
Going
on a year, yeah.
What company, man?
Aligned Mortgage.
Aligned Mortgage.
Yes, sir. Yeah, we're I mean, if you don't mind me.
Yeah, please do.
Go ahead.
Yeah, so it's one of those things I kind of fell backwards into. Like I said, I did my graduate work in finance, and I was telling Kristin, so I got forced to go to this birthday party that I didn't want to go to, and you will have fun, right? One of those. And so I showed up there and I ran into a gentleman that ended up being a branch manager at this mortgage company. And it wasn't on my radar at all. He started talking to me about mortgages. And, I said, like, I don't really know what those are. I know I have one, but, everything that entails. And he said, we typically cater to the veteran community, which immediately resonated with me, having served as a Marine. And he said, our goal is to ensure that every veteran has an opportunity to own a piece of the country that we help to defend. And so immediately I'm like, I'm in, let's go. And so kind of took a leap of faith and have started doing that. Yeah, like I said, last year, and wouldn't change it for the world. Absolutely has been a great experience. The culture is super familial and I've just been very happy. So.
Is the mortgage industry, I imagine you have to keep yourself educated, right? Updated with everything that's changing, but is it really fast paced, just like in the, for realtors, always have to keep their education going to be updated?
Yeah, the education piece is definitely with new products, coming out that are specified to certain niches, is something that we need to keep updated on. At this point, the kind of macro trends nationally and kind of translating into how that is going to impact our local market has been kind of what's been at the forefront, though, with all of the economic craziness that's happening all around us that I'm sure y'all are aware of.
Right.
So you mentioned you have a heart definitely for VA loans, but tell us a little bit about your team. You do all loan types though, correct?
Yes, ma'am. Yeah, I'm here in Austin. The majority of my team is in San Antonio, which is a very target-rich environment for veterans. I really empathize, obviously, with the veteran, but with first-time home buyers. I got out of the Corps. I was living in apartments and condos, and I had decided in my mind that I would not be able to afford a house. I had heard all kinds of stuff. You have to have 20% down, or, I had, without information, had kind of made up my mind it wasn't an option. And I wish I hadn't. And I was kind of, had my arm twisted into looking into information. But it was very overwhelming. It was very intimidating. Nobody sat down with me and said, these are your options. Even if these won't work right now, this is what your target can be. So you can shoot towards that in 6 months, in 9 months, in 12 months, And so when I get to work with first-time home buyers, they're very wide-eyed and I have no idea what's happening. And for me, that's very fulfilling because I get to be that kind of that first line of defense against, all of the craziness that's out there, and to help, come alongside them and work with them and get them into a home for the first time. So yeah, I really enjoy that.
There's something to be said about becoming the person you wish you had, right? They say that even about parenting, like you become the parent you either had or the one you wish you had. And I definitely feel like as a real estate agent, that's how I function. Like, what were the things I really needed from my agent? Mine was so terrible that I ended up working for him. He was just the worst.
Oh yeah. That was a good one. I like it.
Are pink slips still a thing? Do we do pink slips anymore? Are you gonna get?
No, we're good. We're good. We're tight. It's great. Actually, things are going really well. But I just really resonated with that. Like, you become what you needed, right? It gives you a stronger sense. Which, to that, one of the questions I wanted to ask you was, we're getting a lot, obviously there's a lot of frustration. People are feeling, well, two specific things. People are feeling really priced out. My own kids, I've got kids in their early 20s, and they're feeling like hopeless, like they're never going to be able to get a house, here anyway. So there's that, or there's the people getting weary of the process, weary of the conditions, and then just saying, okay, well, I'm just going to wait. So I wondered if you would maybe talk to that for us a little bit. Give us some hope.
Yeah.
Tyler.
No, for sure. One of the things that I had changed my life, I was reading this book. It was an economics book by this gentleman named Thomas Sowell. And he said that there's a couple questions that are relevant to every area of life that we don't typically ask ourselves. And one of them was, compared to what? And so recognizing that all judgments are comparative, this is a bad deal. Well, the question is, compared to what? Or, it's too hot in Texas. Well, compared to what? And so in any area of life, I've learned to ask that. My wife hates it because, she goes, well, if we're going to go to a restaurant, she says, I go, well, we could be at Taco Bell. You know, and so everything is relative. And so I say that to say, I do speak with people that say the interest rates are too high right now and that type of thing. So my question is always, well, what are you comparing today's interest rates to? If you can, I highly recommend that you buy a house in June of 2021. But if you are
Find
unable
a time
to
machine.
do that, right? So it shouldn't be, you know, we're comparing today's rates to how they were a year ago, 2 years ago, you know, when it's like 2.75%, 3%. What are they going to be in another year? What are they going to be in 2 years? And just, you know, what we're kind of seeing is we're headed into territory that is definitely higher than where we're at now in regards to interest rates. So just that kind of reframing of, you know, today 5.5%, that seems super high. In 2 years, I think there are going to be some people that would kill for a 5.5% interest rate. And so I try and help borrowers. I go, look, I don't want you to push this off and then in 2 years really kick yourself, because then you really are priced out at that point between interest rates and the increased value of the properties in the area.
Yeah. Used to be, I think back in the 1970s, 76, around the 1970s, heard it was all the way up to 16% at one point.
Yeah, and then again in the early 90s, I think it was. They're pretty high, pretty high. Yeah, pretty high rates.
I want to say the first house I ever built, it was at least like 8%. I mean, it, you know, that was 25 years ago, I guess.
Yeah.
Sorry. Yes, I'm old, boys.
No, I didn't say anything.
No, but I was going to say you're completely right, Tyler. It's you need to have a game plan at the beginning. You need to educate yourself, and who better than not from, you know, Uncle John or, you know, Mama Lupe. It's from people that do this day in, day out, that know what the interest rates are right now at the moment, that know all the products, and that could put you in a path that, like you said, maybe right now it's not the right time, but dude, 6 months goes by like that. Close your eyes, and, you know, especially if you have kids, you know that right off the bat, right? Like, time flies. So if you're able to get, you know, with somebody and just have a game plan, it just makes a world of a difference.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. The other thing I would say, especially to young people, and I see this kind of a lot, and I think it might be cold comfort, but hopeful in a way that if you recognize it, it allows you to set up yourself for success in the future, you know, to a greater degree. I hear a lot of young people that are saying, like, I will never be able to afford a house. And then my question is, well, where? Because if you're looking at Clarksville, Tarrytown, they're like, I'm never going to be able to buy a house for $200,000 in downtown Austin. And I agree. And so that was kind of one of the other things that is always on my mind, is literally everything is a trade-off. Everything is a trade-off. So if you want a house, you can get one probably in Port Royal, South Carolina, or Fresno, California, or, you know, somewhere, I don't know, in the entire state of Nebraska. But if you want a place in Austin, then you might be priced out. So it's just that game of, how bad do I want a house, and how bad do I want to be in Austin proper, or somewhere that's, you know, more expensive. But I kind of hear that a lot, is people with the idea, they say, well, I want a Range Rover and I want it for $15,000. And I go, well, what year? One of those things is gonna, what year? I know, that's great. What year? And in what condition, right? Yeah. So it's just that acknowledgement of, you know, everything is kind of a trade-off of, you know, we could get young people houses, but it might not be the house a 30-year-old, a 40-year-old could afford, you know, as a starter home at least. But yeah, so just a thought on that.
I have a, sorry, David, I just want to ask this one question.
I raised the hand. Sorry, teacher. No, go ahead, Kristen.
I
I'm
was just
writing
gonna.
mine down. I'm writing mine
Okay,
down.
don't forget it. Um, what are you seeing in the way of down payment assistant programs right now? Because I think a
That,
lot of times it's like people might have enough saved for closing costs or down payment, but it's the down payment plus closing that's overwhelming to first time buyers sometimes.
for sure, for sure. Down payment assistance has evaporated to a large extent over the past couple of months. It's become more expensive, just as the cost of borrowing has increased, has been raised. That is becoming more difficult. What I would recommend, and I didn't know this going in, and I spent a lot of money that I didn't need to, is shop around for different places that have fees that are wrapped into it that aren't mandatory. So when you're buying a house, the taxes obviously you can't negotiate, or the title work, and these different types of things. Those are just what they are. I ended up paying a 1% origination fee, so there's a chunk of money right there. $1,000 processing, $1,000 underwriting, $1,500 admin fee, attorney's fees, doc prep fees, credit check fees, and I dropped a lot of money. And I didn't know that those were negotiable, or I could look at different places. I kind of assumed they were going to be the same. And so that's my number one thing when I work with people that don't know any better, or first time home buyers or something, is to protect them against that. Because again, since I'm so veteran centric, I frame this as if this was the veteran and the veteran's family, because it isn't just the veteran that served. That spouse and those kids served also, right? And so 10 grand in lender fees that they're getting charged, that's a new refrigerator, that's clothes for the kids, that's that's a lot of furniture for the house, that's a lot of things. And so my concern for the veteran in that regard kind of transfers over just to the my neighbors and my family members and my friends. Is 10,000 is a lot, that to a lot of people, to anybody, right? And so I know that's not directly related to DPA, but DPA, the down payment assistance, kind of going away. You do have to worry about closing costs, and so I would try and minimize lender fees. Would be the number one thing that I would say. Yeah.
Thank you.
That's a really good point.
Yeah.
The question that I had is, usually when I meet with people, the first thing that comes into mind is, what price, the price of the house. And like you were saying, getting something right now in Austin for 200,000, pretty close to impossible, obviously, depending on the condition, depending on a lot of things.
Right.
But what a lot of people don't see is what's most important. It's not really that part. It's more like in terms of what your monthly payment will be. So you need to take in consideration, there's little pockets, right, where cities, their tax rate is different. Pflugerville is different from Kyle, Buda is different from Leander. And that plays I think that plays a really big role in regards to where your monthly payment is going to fall, the city taxes. And there's still little, pockets where city taxes are 1.9 or 2.2. And a lot of people don't know this. So whenever they're talking to you, do you guys go over all of this with them, kind of like guidance 101? Hey, this is really what it's all about, what you can afford on your monthly payment.
For sure. Yeah. And like you pointed out, the tax is, that's a huge chunk of change. And so the two, out of the four aspects of a mortgage, the principal, the interest, the taxes, and the insurance, the one that you can kind of, maneuver is the insurance. And then depending on where you buy, the tax burden. But yeah, we always go over that. And when I'm working with my customers, my clients, if they say, hey, I need to lower my home insurance payment by $14 so I can make it under that threshold to get this house, I typically will not do that for them. And I will have that difficult conversation of, you are one flat tire away from this domino effect of financially bad things happening to you. And maybe we should look at a property that's a little bit, priced a little lower or something. This just makes me, just to protect the client and be ethical. If you're $14 away from really like taking on, too much, I would be wary of that. You'll have people that try and push you to the upper threshold of the penny that you can afford, and you have no breathing room. And, I'm sure we've all learned in our lives, something inevitably happens that you have to have a little extra cash for something. So, I would definitely look at that as well.
So I really like the integrity and how you look at things from I guess different perspective, right? But a line mortgage, what was it? What is it? Something that a line mortgage has that other mortgage companies don't have?
Like as far as benefits to the client, I mean, what are you
Mainly,
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, not to take up, your podcast with a plug. So, and this is, I was angry about this for 2 weeks because I didn't know about what we call junk fees. So, a line mortgage has 0 lender fees for government-backed loans. So for VA loans, there's 0 lender fees. There's no processing, no underwriting, $1,000, no admin, no all of these crazy things that I dropped a lot of money on. Because our view philosophically is, why should we charge the veteran just to use the benefit that they earned through their service? And so 0 lender fees on that. That kind of bleeds over into the market when we work with conventional buyers. And so we have an $895 flat fee for conventionals. That's conventional loans. And then that's it. There is no 1% underwriting, or 1% origination, underwriting, like all of the, I mean, you've seen the loan estimates. I mean, it gets crazy.
A lot
and these families
about those.
And these families are just trying to come up with, like you said, the closing cost, title, and taxes, and they have no idea, and nobody's going to tell them. Right. And nobody will say anything, and they'll write it. They'll add $7,000, $8,000, $9,000, $10,000 to their loan that they didn't have to pay. So.
Yeah.
Can you tell us a little bit about your team? We are I should stop saying we're a bilingual team because I'm not, but everyone else on my team is. So we just wondering if you have bilingual team members.
We do.
Listen, two margaritas, and we know you speak fully Spanish.
Is that so? Yeah. All I remember from Spanish class is my llama's name is Tyler or something.
Me llamo, right? Yep.
No, it's funny you say that because I am the non-Spanish speaker on the team, and I joke with my teammates that I speak Spanish, and I just say, el phone, and I just put L in front of everything, and that's kind of that. But no, we do. I have been, not to get, too sentimental and warm and fuzzy. I truly believe I have been absolutely blessed with the company that I'm at, but also the team that I was placed with. First and foremost, their level of how they are as human beings is phenomenal. They are such good people, and that is how they do business. And so everybody that I work with is absolutely family after a year. And so I've been very pleased with that, and very, very fortunate, because I know that is very rarely the case.
I feel the same way, though.
Spanish speakers.
I feel the same way. Shout out to David and Adriana.
And it's a very rare thing. I loved the Marine Corps. And then after that, I went obviously and did, some other things. This is the first place in a long time that I am not, when you sit in meetings as a teacher and they go, yay, we're all here because we love to, and in the back your mind, you're kind of like, I'm in a faculty meeting right now. You know, I truly love the company that I'm at and the mission that we have and the people that I work with. It's just been absolutely mind blowing to me. How I'll have a question and they pick up every time. And so we do that with our buyers as well, as like, you know, we know people work 9 to 5 and have kids and all this stuff. And so just the culture of work ethic and integrity is unparalleled. Absolutely, hands down. So got lost, you guys.
No worries. We're good.
It's okay. Listen, let's just thank you so much for taking the time with us today, Tyler. We'll let you off the hook since we're freezing so much, but we appreciate you. Oh, Tyler.
You're talking to the picture right now.
I know. I guess here, let me text him and say, we'll just say goodbye.
We're just saying goodbye. And hey, let me put this out there though. Once he sees the video or the podcast, thank you so much for your service, man. Really appreciate it. And
yes, thank you.
All the hard work and what you're doing right now, educating clients. It goes a long way.
It does.
You know, not every lender does that. They just, hey, give me your W-2s, give me your tax income, give me your monthly statements, and then, hey, this is what you're able to afford. So
well, and one thing that I realized when, you know, because it was a mutual friend that said, hey, you guys were both musicians, both music educators, and now you're both in this field, so you should meet. So it was a mutual friend that brought us together. But what we realized pretty quickly was that because coming from education, there is, you cannot drop the ball in education. Do you know what I mean? Like, the kids are going to be in class every day. You can't just not do something or not do it on time. When you have deadlines that come to you from your administration, you have to do it. It's like, we are so detail oriented as educators. We have to be. That's the nature of the job. And so I think he and I both realized that, unfortunately, not everybody in mortgage lending or real estate is like that. They're not necessarily as detail oriented, as on top of things. So I think that's one of the things that, you know, makes him unique too, is that because of his background in education, he's just very on top of things, and very organized, because us teachers, we got to be organized. But anyway, that was a great conversation. I mean, what are you? I was just gonna say, like, what are you, you know, in terms of trends and what you're seeing and all that? Like, give me your thoughts.
Well, this is actually from the Association of Realtors, this information, but if I were to just, instead of going with Cedar Park or Leander, Round Rock, if I just do counties, I was looking at in Travis County, we had a sales decrease from this April 2022 compared to last April of 6.2% sales decrease, and a 9.5% increase in dollar amount.
Right. So dollar amount went up. I saw the same thing, I think. So dollar amount went up by almost 10%, right? Like 9 point something.
9.5 for Travis.
So, but the actual number of sales is going down. Some of that is because, you know, inventory is still not, I don't know. I heard somebody say, oh, inventory is starting to catch up. I'm not seeing that.
Well, a lot of people are getting scared, because if, you know, you sell in the market that you buy into. So you sell your house, but then you have to buy another house, and you're looking at a 6% interest rate. So there's a lot of people that are scared right now as far as bringing their house to the market, but there's still divorces going around. There's still people that need to change jobs, need to move out of state. There's still houses that are going to be coming into the market. Uh, Personally, man, I can tell that there's a shift. The shift already started. This house that we were that I just did an open house for a listing that we had up in Pflugerville. I was expecting at least 35, 40 people to come in through that front door. We only had about 20. I was expecting at least 5, 6 offers. We only had 3. Don't get it twisted, right? It's still a seller's market. It's
Right.
just
I mean,
not that
still
hot.
3. Right.
It's
Still
it's
multiple.
not that hot habanero Tabasco sauce seller's market that you used to have even 4 months ago, 5 months ago. So you can feel, as a realtor, you can feel the shift already. It's already happening now. The real question here is, are prices going to drop? Is there like a real crash coming? It just depends. I mean, all the jobs are coming here.
That's what I was going to say. I still think with Tesla, Amazon, Google, Samsung, you know, I still think that's what's going to keep us at that high value. I am happy. It has been kind of fun to be with the clients where they're moving out of state, someplace less expensive. And so they sell their house and they're like, woo! You know, like that's
Take all that money, right?
Yeah. I mean, that is great. I mean, and just like sidebar. So David, do you remember about what we got our house for? Does that number stick in your head? You don't have to say it out loud. I'm just wondering. The one I'm in right now. This one.
Yeah. Of course. Beautiful house.
So it is now, you know, over $500,000.
Damn, Kristin.
2 years.
Can you start paying me?
Boy, I got in here just in time. I still love this house though.
You know, for where you're at, obviously, I'm not going to say the exact city, but it is Williamson County, right?
Yep.
So, if I'm not mistaken, actually, you know what, I'm going to look it up, but you really had let me see. So, this past month, 11.2% of houses sale decreases. So less houses sold, 11.2%, but the increase was actually 7.8 in terms of sales
price.
dollar. Yeah. So even last month, it was still increasing almost 7%. But I mean, it's crazy. Still really crazy.
I'm just worried for the people that, I mean, because I never ever want to push someone. You know, I respect people's situations 100%. And that's where, you know, gosh, I wish we had a crystal ball, right? Because I worry for the ones that, you know, want to wait, and then will they be able to get into something else? But I shouldn't worry because, you know, even then they're in a great house right now. You know what I mean? But it's just hard. But okay, so I did thinking about this very thing though in the last 24 hours. Do you remember how nervous we were when COVID hit? Everyone was saying the market was just going to crash.
Yeah. Everybody was.
They were wrong.
Yeah, they were ready to give up on the.
There was like 1 month because we had that condo on the market that was like hit the market just as the pandemic did, right? And so that condo like sat for a little while, and then all of a sudden,
I remember our client being really, really nervous. Mm-hmm. And we said, you know what, we got your back. We'll get it sold. Even in COVID, I mean, it was the beginning of COVID. Everybody was so nervous, and it was like, this thing is not going to sell. And then multiple offers, and that's where it all started. Just like prices started skyrocketing. I know. What I'm encountering right now with a lot of people, especially sellers, is they need to get rid of their house. for whatever reason. Like I said, there's many reasons, right? They're downgrading, all kids went to college, uh, upgrading, having another baby. So they really need another house for whatever it is, but they need to get rid of theirs. What I'm seeing a lot is people being nervous that where am I going to move to? And if houses are selling this quick, 2 5 days, 7 days, and they think they need to be out of their place immediately, which we know is not the case, right? Usually a house is financed. Um, Not all the time. Usually it's paid. Sometimes it's paid cash, but most of the time it's being financed through the buyer, and that at least takes anywhere 30 to 45 days. But the cool part after that is that most of the time you can work out a lease back. So you can still stay an extra 30, 60 days in your
Usually up
house.
to 60 days after closing. Yeah.
And most of the time, get this, free lease back.
Yeah.
A
In
free
a
lease
seller's
back.
market.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not even including on that. And if that's not enough, like for example, our team basically offers short-term corporate housing after that. In the event that we still need more time, our clients need more time to be in a place because they haven't found that right place. Dude, all you need to do is put your stuff from storage to your new house, because you're going to be living in a corporate housing. Don't need anything really.
You tied right into what I wanted to say, and we didn't even talk about it. What I wanted to say was I wanted to take a moment, thought this would be fun and probably uncomfortable, for us to talk about, we don't really toot our own horns very often. So I want to toot each other's horn in that. Like, I want to say why I think you're a special real estate agent. And then I was hoping that maybe you would say something nice about me. Anyway, so for you just brought up one of my favorite things, and that is that you just are a big picture guy. You are always looking ahead. And so you have these properties, these places, so that, and it's one of the reasons why I chose to work for you, right? Was that when you were my agent and we were under a tight crunch to get a house, to get Liam into the school he needed to be at. And I remember being desperate and scared, but there was such a sense of comfort knowing that you had rental properties, that we were not going to be on the street regardless. We had a place, and I had never gotten that with any other agents. So there was that. There was also, it felt like my problems were your problems. You were right there with us on all the emotional roller coasters. Hashtag Kristin got mad. You were with us, all the way. But the other thing too, I remember, like, what a brutal negotiator you were in our defense. Like, if you think about it, I don't like to think about this, but if you get somebody, in theory, if we get somebody to pay more for something, then the commissions are higher, whatever. But that's just not how we roll. DNA's never been like that, because you were trying to talk us into paying less, which was only going to hurt your bottom line, but it wasn't about that. For you, it was way more important that the proper deal, the right thing, the good value was there for us.
Of course.
So I think for me, you're that rare combination of, like, a shark when you need to be, like, absolutely not intimidated by other people or situations, and knowledgeable, but also managed to have, like, a heart and can read the room and know, like, remember that one house where I liked it a whole lot and Tom didn't like it at all? And I think you were, at some point I looked at you and you were like, I don't think Tom likes this. And I was like, oh yeah.
Oh yeah, forgot about that guy.
Tom doesn't like it. So, marriage counselor?
Oh, listen, thank you so much for saying that. Really appreciate it. But it's really not about me. It's all about you. See, I'm working on my Zoolander face.
There you go.
I mean, let's talk about your current deal, where you just hit a home run for your clients. It's so difficult right now for buyer's agents because it's the seller's market, right? So you're submitting 20 offers here, you're negotiating over here. It's really, really tough to get the property that your clients want. And at the end of the day, the way that you go above and beyond, just like I never seen any other realtor do it, really, where you're actually like not just sending them properties, but you're actually taking your own time to dissect these properties in detail, like, oh, you want the room like this, oh, you want this type of kitchen. It's amazing the amount of detail that you put into your what you love doing, really. You really like helping people, and that's just incredible. You really do. You're really passionate about what you do. So that's something that I really, really like about you. And I'm pretty sure your clients just are amazed about that.
Thank you. That's so sweet.
Don't cry, please. Do not cry.
I think I really do appreciate that, because I am definitely about the people. It's definitely not about the money for me at all. But I also think one of my strengths too is also I want to say humility. It's funny though, if I say it's my humility, it makes it seem the opposite. But I mean in that, like, I am never going to say I know something that I don't know. Like, I am not afraid to say, I'm not sure. I'm going to ask somebody who knows more than me. Or I don't know this, but I know an expert, because I feel like I have run into a lot of people that feel that they need to be the expert in every situation. And that's something you taught me early on too. You don't need to be the expert. Surround yourself with experts.
Right.
Have them on speed dial, and then you don't have to be the expert, because that kind of arrogance really turns me off, especially because so often it can be disingenuous, where it's not even true, So we are not perfect, but we go above and beyond, and we certainly, don't give up. We've been with our clients through terrible, heavy losses and seen them rise from the ashes and have beautiful things come of it, and that's been the really special part too, I think.
You don't give up. You don't give up.
Never give up. Don't give up.
That's
Sorry, that's a
Who was
song. It's embarrassing that I can't remember, because it was just a hurdle recently.
Don't worry. Nobody's judging.
Somebody is. That's okay.
Plus you can edit it.
That's right. All right, boss. So what is going to be our topic next time?
Next time we have a really special guest. And well, I'm not gonna spoil the surprise right now, but we're gonna be talking about single parenting. God knows that, couples, and we're having a hard time over here. I just can't imagine single parents going through this alone, 1-2 kids. But that's
even if you're sharing custody. Yeah, it's yeah. All right. Well, I'm very excited about that. I mean, I'm always excited to get to talk. Hopefully you learned a thing or two. Reach out to us if you would like to chat with Tyler. We'd be happy to put you in contact with Tyler, or Tyler Groft is with Aligned Mortgage. But thanks so much for taking the time. We really love this community. Please join our Facebook group, like and subscribe. Subscribe. But have a great weekend or weekday if you're listening to us then.
Y'all take care.